In the following video, you will learn about the resources that are available to you on your English 101 course LibGuide. You navigate your LibGuide using the tabs that you see at the center of the page. In this video, we're going to take the tabs in order. The Home tab is just a welcome page. The next tab that you'll find is the Brainstorming tab, where you'll find research tips that could assist you with creating proper searches in library resources. It's highly recommended that you watch the video over here on the right-hand side. While our library did not create the video, it does an excellent job of breaking down how to accurately create searches in library resources. The Books tab has a search box for searching to see what print resources we have available to you in our physical libraries, while it also has some sample books that may be of interest to you. The next three tabs, the Ebooks, the Databases, and Multimedia tabs, all contain resources that you can access from off-campus. Your login information for accessing these resources is the same as your MyHGTC username and password. On the eBooks tab, you'll find a variety of boxes, each one representing our different ebook collections. The two boxes on the left-hand side, EBSCO ebook collection and eBook Central, are the two largest ebook providers our library offers. Between them, they have close to 400,000 ebooks. These will be cover-to-cover full ebooks. I'll go in now and I'll show you a search in one of those so that you know what an ebook will look like from our library. Here in EBSCO, I'll do a search for offshore drilling. And I found 22 ebooks that match the search that I've entered in. When I find one that looks interesting to me, all I have to do is click on it, and I can either read the book immediately in PDF format, or I can go through the steps to download the ebook. If I end up using any information out of this ebook, one nice thing that you'll notice about all library resources is that they come pre-cited. There'll be a button somewhere on the page that says Cite or Citation that you can click on to get the suggested MLA style format citation. Do double check these for accuracy though, because they are computer generated and there is the potential for an error perhaps with capitalization. On the right-hand side of the eBooks tab, you'll find Credo Reference and Gale eBooks. These are also ebook collections, but they're a little bit different than EBSCO ebook collection and eBook Central in that they do not give you full-text complete books. What they do is they look for the topic that you have searched for and return any results out of books strictly about the topic you searched for. These will usually come from things like encyclopedias, dictionaries, handbooks. So if I were to go into Credo Reference and do a search also for offshore drilling, instead of having to read an entire book about this topic, I'll get an entry about that topic out of something like the Science Encyclopedia or Guide to the Oceans. So while I'm still looking at the full entry from that book, I'm not having to look at the whole book, just the topic that I searched for, in this case, offshore drilling. And again, always be on the lookout for that Cite or Citation button. There are a few other smaller ebook collections on this page as well that you may want to take a look at, but the four at the top are the largest ones that our library offers. Next up, you'll find the Databases tab. If you're not familiar with databases, databases are basically online versions of libraries. In a database, you'll find journal articles, magazine articles, newspaper articles, sometimes entries out of books, government documents, educational videos, a variety of different resources. Our library subscribes to close to 100 different databases. On the right-hand side of this page, you'll find our general databases. These are catch-all databases that you could use for virtually any topic in any subject area. The two at the top, Academic OneFile and Academic Search Premier, are labeled as best bets because they're the two largest databases that our library offers. Additionally, there are some other research tips found on this page. But right now, we're going to go in and take a look at one of these databases so that you can see how to properly conduct a search through a library resource. I'm going to go in and show you Academic OneFile. Previously in the video, we did a search for a very general topic, offshore drilling. But if you had a more complex topic where there were multiple search terms that you wanted to use, you have to know how to properly search for that in a library resource. So let's say that your topic was whether or not college athletes should receive compensation for their time in college as well as in an athletic program. It's a very complex topic, so what you should do is identify the keywords in your topic. There may be 2, 3, 4, however many you think are the most important keywords. And then what you'll want to do is separate them using the word "and" when you conduct your search. So a search for that topic may look like this. I've typed in compensation and college athletes. So it's joining those two concepts together. You could even further refine this search by putting college athletes in quotation marks. This isn't required, but what that does is it locks in those search terms so that they're searched together exactly in that order. And then I've got my results list here. And as I mentioned earlier, you'll get different types of results. I've got journal articles, magazines, entries out of books, newspaper articles, and videos. When you see one that looks interesting to you, go ahead and click on it, and you can go in and immediately start reading that particular, in this case, journal article. And again, your cite button is going to be up here in the corner in this particular database. Again, these are our general databases, but we do have close to 100 databases, and you can see a full list by clicking on the link that you see here. Please note that we have databases for very specific subjects. So when you go to this page, you can click where it says All Subjects and narrow your list down to a specific category, and it will bring up only the databases within that subject area. Lastly, for research, we're going to go over to the Multimedia tab. On the Multimedia tab, you're going to find the library's two streaming video services, Films on Demand and Canopy. Both of these contain educational videos, and in the case of Canopy, it also has documentaries and feature films. Those would be independent movies, though, not your major blockbusters like you would find in a movie theater or an online streaming service. We're going to go in and we're going to take a look at Films on Demand. Again, just like with the previous searches that you saw, you could either search for a general topic or a broad topic, like we did earlier with offshore drilling, or you can create a more complex search like we did in the databases, where we joined our search terms together using the word "and." I've conducted a search for homelessness, which has produced 749 different videos. But if I wanted to narrow that list down, I could by adding more search terms. So let's say I wanted to focus on homelessness in the United States and the causes of it, I might construct a search that said homelessness and United States and causes. And then my list would surely be much smaller because I've put in more search parameters for it to look for. So if I wanted to watch this one, Cost of Homelessness, I could click on it and immediately hit the play button right here. Your Cite button is right here for any videos that you happen to locate in Films on Demand. Rounding out the last couple tabs on your guide, the Information Literacy tab has how-to videos that are more general-based that could help you with learning how to properly conduct research through an academic library. The Citing in MLA tab has information about citing various types of sources in MLA style. The Learning Support Services tab has information about other departments that may be of interest to you, like the Tutoring Center and the Writing Center. And last but not least, you've got the Get Help tab where you can find all the various methods for contacting the library for assistance. We're available via email, via chat, via phone, and via text. Whatever method works best for you works for us, and we'll be happy to help you out and point you in the right direction. Thanks for watching.